So there is so much going on that inside my head actually feels like this.
No realness in that bitch. That catfish tragic. Online savage, real life average.
Now, before we even get started, if you're wondering where that picture was taken, because yes, it is real, I want you to guess the state in which that picture, that news report, that picture was taken. I'll give you about 2 seconds. Yes, you guessed it right. It was Florida. Apparently somebody was backing out of a SunTrust and they jumped the curb and then kept reversing on top of cars. I don't understand. Like, sis, did you not notice that your ass, that the back of your car was All right. As usual, make sure that you're going over to patreon.com/AdrianExpression, checking out the latest installment of The Expression Podcast. The latest episode is entitled Gather Around Girlies. We discussed the latest episode of Insecure. We talked about monogamy in the gay community. We talked about addiction in the black community. We talked about coming out to your family multiple times and them still not like accepting. We had fun over there. Make sure you check it out. Patrons get the content first. You already know the deal. So let's cover some music industry stuff. By the way that I'm covering Lady Gaga's like every move, you would think that I am like a little monster or something. You think I'm a stan. But I'm just really curious to see what she's going to be bringing us. She released this picture on her social media, her Twitter. She said, hey guys, guess what? I'm coming May 29th. With the way that this picture is set up, I'm hoping that we're gonna get some amazing ass visuals from her. I really do appreciate the sentiment and the kind of vision behind her trying to film everything off of the iPhone for her latest single, but I would really appreciate if we go ahead and use different items. If we go ahead and use different equipment, I would really love that. But no, I really cannot wait to see what she's gonna be giving us. I looked at the pre-order for the album and it seems like it's gonna be like 16 tracks or something. I was like, goodness. So yeah, you Gaga stans, I know that y'all are ready. We're still on the topic of the music industry. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this feud, I don't even know if you can call it that, but I feel like this feud has been going on for quite some time. Khia went on, I don't know, she's always on her live doing something. Hopefully that phone bill is paid so that she can take callers if she's still doing that. Next caller, Khia said that, you know what, I got so many hits, I want to go toe to toe against Trina.
You want to have a hit battle, bitch? Oh, Lord, I got 285 hits.
You know, me, I'm just like, nah, sus. Like, I'm really searching my mind for a bunch of Khia hits, and the only thing that I'm coming up with is My Neck, My Back, My Poissa, and My Grand Canyon Crack. So it's just, I don't know. In order to do battle, in my opinion, you have to have the proper equipment. You have to have the proper tools. Since if you come to this battle and the only thing you have on is a nightgown, baby, and Trina got on, full armor, it's just like, baby, don't set yourself up like that. But Khia's gonna be Khia. I feel like we all know that. I also feel like sometimes Trina responded.
Make sure you have 10 hits. Make sure you have enough records. Make sure you're on my level if you think you want to go toe-to-toe with me, because you cannot.
Khia says certain things and does certain things on purpose to get underneath people's skin. And there's so many people who are just like her. The only way they thrive is by being messy. So sometimes, like I've learned, the best way to shut people up is to just not give them anything to feed off of. So just let Khia be Khia, Trina. Let her just talk her shit. Like, why are you even worried? Khia reminds me of people I've known. I'll say that. It's like at some point, if one person is beefing with every single person, I feel like we understand who the problem is, Speaking of a battle, the girls are going toe to toe. And I'm talking about the Say So remix versus the Savage remix. The labels, the girls over here throwing bundles. They said, we're gonna get that #1 at all costs. I do not know who is in the lead at this point. The only reason why I know this is even going on is because of how plugged in I am to Stan Twitter. But a lot of times, just like, damn, the Stans, they be taking the numbers and acting like it's going to put something on their resume. If these artists get #1, I'm just like, yeah, I understand you want your fave to do well, but like, damn, enjoy the music. Sometimes y'all sometimes the stands take the fun out of music as a whole, and I understand it's a competition, rap is a competition, and you want to make as much money as you can, you want to get those awards and accolades, but it's like, girl, I literally twerk to the songs and sit my ass down. These stands are out here, seem like they about to do self-sacrifice to get their face to #1. Maybe one artist will get it this week and another one the next week, I don't know. Either way, these labels are trying to use every trick in the book to make sure that their respective artists are on the top of them damn charts. And it is hilarious to see all these like fan bases have meltdowns over who is on top and who's not. So I'm bringing you some social media drama, and it all happened because Adele had her birthday. It's a 32nd birthday, and so she released pictures and she was smiling. She looked great, she looked beautiful. Loved the hair, loving the dress, love everything, right? So obviously one of the first things that people were saying was like, oh my God, Adele, you look so good. You lost all that weight. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's revenge. She going through a divorce. Snatch waist, snatch body. Yes, ma'am, honey. And now the more that I'm reading, and like I will link this awesome piece done by Deshawn over on Wear Your Voice magazine, because I do not have all the terminology, or I don't know every single thing about this topic to talk about it in the detailed, precise way that Deshawn does. But yeah, as I'm reading more, as I'm listening more, as I'm getting more information, I try to do my best to shy away from making those types of like, oh yeah, girl, we so happy for you, lost all that motherfucking weight, especially if that person is not actively talking about, this is a goal I have for myself, I'm trying to lose it, especially if they're not always in the media talking about that shit. And the reason why I say that is because, and I tweeted this, I remember reading the story about a woman, and I do not remember the specifics of like the whole situation. I do not remember the woman's name, but I remember her saying that she had cancer, and because, you know, she was losing a whole bunch of weight, you know, she was suffering and it was crazy. But when she went in public, people were like congratulating her, like, wow, you lost all this weight and you look so good. And meanwhile, the woman had cancer and she was going through so many issues, right? So I'm not saying that Adele has cancer. People have told me that in the past she has talked about her getting a trainer and all this. So yeah, granted all of that, but for me personally, because of stories like that and because of how society often will go up for somebody being super thin without looking at what they've been through or caring about if they're actually healthy, I just think we have to be kind of a little bit more careful about how we discuss it, if that makes sense. And some people will take it all the way to the extreme, and they'll be like, are y'all shaming Adele for getting skinny? Are y'all mad that Adele is skinny now? It's like, no one is saying that. Please understand that I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the way in which we talk about people's bodies and celebrities' bodies and stuff, the way in which weight loss is discussed or handled, I think we have to be very cognizant about what we're saying and why we're saying it. But someone made a point and said that I think that in general we should just not be talking about anybody's weight, you know, celebrities' weight like that. And I would definitely agree with that. I would love to see how thought progresses on this subject in the years to come. But yeah, I just hope that, especially given what Adele has been going through, I hope that she's okay and she seems to be smiling and happy. That's all that matters, period. But we do want the album. Okay, so this is a picture released by Warner Brothers to let us know, hey, guess what? Wonder Woman 1984 is coming out August 14th, so you better be prepared. Now, I don't know why Cheetah, I'm ready to see what Cheetah is actually gonna look like. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired of Cheetah looking like she's about to ask us for a macchiato. Like, I'm over it. Please let us see what this woman's gonna look like. They playing tug of war with Wonder Woman's lasso of truth, and I'm just like, girl, isn't Wonder Woman tired of getting her lasso snatched up? Can someone help her ass out? Put some Velcro straps on that shit to keep that shit in place. Aren't you tired of always getting that whip snatched from your ass? Speaking of things getting snatched, I definitely watched that Justice League Dark Apocalypse, whatever. I'm not gonna spoil it. But that left me traumatized. That's all I'm gonna say on that. For those of you who are into the DCAU, y'all like the animated movies that they serve us, girl. Everybody, all my friends are dead. Push me to the, you talking about dead ass heroes, sis? If you really are craving some dead heroes, make sure you check out Justice League, the new Justice League movie they released, because I was sitting here like, are you serious? People powerless, powers are useless, a dark side dragon. After that animated movie, they're gonna have to change their names from Justice League to the Justice Band. And the reason why I say band is because after they got dragged so hard, the only thing that they can come together and do is pick up a couple instruments and take their ass to the nearest amphitheater. Cause girl, the way in which they got handled and dragged, you need to retire as heroes and go learn an instrument, the Justice Band. Get out of here. Speaking of some funny news, if you're wondering what New York is doing, among many other things to deal with this coronavirus crisis, I read this headline. For the first time in 115 years, overnight subway service in New York City has been shut down to clean trains amid the pandemic. I feel like we're gonna, And I'm not singling out New York, okay? But I feel like in general, across this whole country, we're gonna start seeing more headlines like this. For the first time in centuries, we've actually sat down to deal with the shitty infrastructure that continues to plague our entire country. Just because a global threat has found its way into our lives, we're not gonna try and fix the shit any other way. Humans. So the Obamas are up to a bunch of different things. I think I saw the fact that they were gonna try and do this whole commencement thing and have a whole bunch of artists, musical artists, for all the people who couldn't actually graduate in person and have actual graduation event. Michelle is over here advertising for her Becoming Netflix documentary and all of this. And in that push, she left us with quite the quote. She said, "So the day I left the White House and I write about how painful it was to sit on that inauguration stage, a lot of our folks didn't vote. It was almost like a slap in the face. I understand the people who voted for Trump. The people who didn't vote at all, the young people, the women, that's when you think, man, people think this is a game. It wasn't just in this election. Every midterm, every time Barack didn't get the Congress he needed, that was because our folks didn't show up. After all that work, they just couldn't be bothered to vote at all. That's my trauma." And among other things, this is why I do not bat an eye at all whenever people come down hard on the Obamas and critiquing them. It just really rubs me the wrong way when you try and shit on a community that you know deals with a whole bunch of voter suppression, because you are well connected within the establishment, like you know what's going on, and for you to be like, well, it's y'all fault, yeah, it was a slap in the face, that's my trauma. Like, please, people stealing elections to be governor. I mean, just last election we saw the types of crazy shit they tried to do to suppress the vote. This is what hit many headlines. That's my trauma. It was just really expected, I guess, but really sad in my opinion. So something else that's really sad is this case with Ahmaud Arbery. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, especially not here on YouTube. I do not feel like fighting with their ass. If you want me to discuss it, make sure that you go over to patreon.com/AdrianExpression. Let me know and we will discuss it on the next podcast episode. But as you probably already know, it is extremely upsetting and depressing. I know that we have to know that these types of things go on so that we can talk about it and get justice, but I think the way in which we go about doing it really has to play a huge part in our strategy. And I'm talking about the spread of that really gruesome video, right? I think a lot of people are under this impression that, oh, well, we always have to display it and show the pain and show the trauma. So maybe people think that you can shock certain racists who maybe you think they walk in the line of it, shock them into like treating us like human beings. And that's never the case. First of all, these types of videos, this type of imagery has been always disseminated throughout history, and they still continue to drag our ass through the mud. They still continue to kill us. Like I said, I don't know if people think that they can alarm people into treating, minorities, black people like human beings, but those types of people actually get off to seeing this type of violence. So not only are you traumatizing the black community, re-traumatizing their ass over and over again, but you're exciting the people who love to see this type of shit. And I also think that a lot of times we can tell the difference between somebody who wants to raise awareness and let us know that something is going on versus someone like Sean King who has me blocked, and other people like him who just like thrive off of this like constant display of trauma. You know what I mean? So yeah, we can talk about that more on the podcast because I want more freedom to say what I really am trying to say, but I'm so tired. But on that note, thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, make sure you check out my Patreon at patreon.com/AdrianExpression. I love you all so much. Please stay sane. I'm going a little crazy here, okay? And please stay safe. Make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.